Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. The other day I was helping a friend move some stuff around. I'm not going to name any names. He's not very good at fixing things, and he has a YouTube channel. I will mask the name. It's Albert Oy. Anyway, I was helping him out, and he had some stuff that has been kicking his ass lately. So of course, being the good friend that I am, I joked and picked on him about it, and then I took the items and brought them to my Global Domination headquarters workshop here. And let's see if we can't tackle them today. So we got a couple of pieces of yard equipment here. We got an electric trimmer and a gas lawnmower. Gas lawnmower, as you can guess, it just doesn't start. So it sounds pretty icky. We'll take that apart. This electric trimmer, we've got this issue going on here, which I don't think it's supposed to do, last I checked. You know, I'm not a electric trimmer expert, but that doesn't look right. So let's throw this trimmer up on the we'll throw this up on the workbench and see if we can't figure out how we can fix that, or if we can. I told them it might be a goner, but I don't know. So let's see what we can figure out. I've never worked on one of these before, and I've never seen anything like this before, but my thoughts are that there has to be a clip that holds this in. I see a groove on this shaft portion here, so I'm thinking there should be a clip on that. And I'm thinking that if we pull this head off of here, that perhaps we can see where that should go. And that one is not going to come out easily. But I don't know. I don't know if that's how this works or not. But as I've said before, when you're working on something that's broken, give it a shot, because it's already broken. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's broken already. So if it was destined to be, then it will be. All right, so I'm thinking, looks like everything is moving. Well, there, would you look at that? All right, I'm gonna pull this whole thing out and we'll get a peek at it. So, just as I said, the shaft goes through, and that slot on there goes right past there, so it appears there's supposed to be a clip of some sort on there. Now I will let me clean this up a little bit, and I'm going to dig around in my bin of parts and see if I have something we can make work. So this is what I found in my assorted items. And this is what I would imagine goes on there. This is called an E-clip. Can you figure out why they call it an E-clip? Looks kind of like a little E. So I had a couple of these. And this one looks like it might be the right size, but let's see if we can't pop it on here. Try to get in here, show you how these kind of work. Oops, that's me, hi. I don't know if this is the right size or not. There you go. So now, let's zoom back in. There you go. Or zoom back out. Look at that. He said going nowhere. It's going nowhere, man. All right. Just got to get this thing to pop in here somehow or another. tried to hit it really hard. Did that help any? No? Well, we'll have to put a little bit of heat on that maybe and try to make that pop out. But this is back together, so now all we got to do is put this back inside of here. Easy day, and this is done. Now onto the lawnmower. Oh, look at that, we got a bent wheel. We'll straighten that out. First thing I like to do before I work on any mower is to wash it all off. So I'm gonna take it over here and hose it all off. And then especially underneath on the deck, I'll grab a scraper because they usually have a bunch of caked on, dried on grass and crap under there. So we'll clean that all off, and I'll probably just drain the oil. These things take about a pint of oil, so we'll drain the oil and change that. And 99 out of 100 times, these mowers sit for a while before they get used, and the carburetor just gets gummed up. So I will start, well, as soon as I get it cleaned up back in here, I'll show you what our troubleshooting techniques are going to be. We got it hosed off, knocked the dirt and the spiders and stuff off of it, and I pulled this wheel off. I'm going to use a crescent wrench, hopefully here. Hopefully, let's say. Straighten out that. Let's try it. Not that the wheel is the most important part, but it's an easy one. There you go. It's tracking a little bit better now. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do before I do anything else is I'm going to make sure that we have spark. So I'm going to pull this spark plug out. I'll grab the wrench and we'll be right back. I moved the mower up here on top of my motorcycle lift. Figured it's a little bit easier to work up here than on my hands and knees on the ground. Got the spark plug out and I cleaned it. It was pretty dirty, just kind of black with some carbon. Cleaned it with a wire brush, hit it with some brake cleaner, blew it off with the air compressor. Now, part of the problem with working on mowers is that the pull starts way up there, spark plug's down here, so being able to see spark is going to be difficult. But I'm going to use my video so y'all can help me out, and I can just watch the video afterwards, hopefully. And I think what I'm going to do to make things a little bit easier, well, I can't do it right now. I was going to close the garage door, but hopefully we got a dark enough area here where we can see if we got spark. Let me try to get you a good view of that spark plug. Get you and me a good view of that spark plug. Let's see. We'll try it right there. I really wish I had a better view of it, but I'm afraid I'm gonna knock the camera over, which we might do anyway. So let's give her a shot, one way or another. Hold on tight. Do we see any spark? I will go to the tail of the tape, but I don't think I'm going to be able to see very good from this angle. All right, on the second try there, I for sure saw a little bit of a spark. So I am going to assume that we are good to go as far as having spark. Now, not the best view, but I did see a little bit, and I think that's enough. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to remove this air cleaner and this fuel tank and carburetor, which is kind of all in one item. So let me get the tools out for all this, and we'll set up and we'll be right back. First thing we do to gain access to the carburetor / gas tank area is remove this top plastic cover here. It's 2 screws that came out, And then there's a clip right there that was in here. It's a little bit of a pain in the ass to get that off, not a big deal. Then the air cleaner comes off. You can see the one screw here. Now for those of you who have a lawnmower and you just pull the handle and put gas in it and go, don't do that. You see this air cleaner, air filter here? It's filthy. Without air, your engine's not going to run. With dirty air, your engine's going to run terrible and it will destroy your engine. Okay, so it looks to me like the fuel tank is attached to the carburetor right here. And we have at least one screw bolt here. And it looks like there might be another one right there. Let's see if we've got something to take that off with. And part of the fun of working on these lawnmowers is that they are almost always a Briggs & Stratton engine. That's a pretty common engine. Oh yeah, and we got these two screws right here. Well, maybe more than two. Looks like one, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, it might be the smartest thing is just to take this entire carburetor off all in one go. We'll have to take a look at this and figure it out. But since they're a Briggs & Stratton engine, Briggs & Stratton is made in America, so they are standard and not metric. Whereas almost everything else these days is metric fasteners. You know, you got your all your motorcycles for the most part. Harley Davidson is one of the only ones that is not metric. Well, I'll tell you what, once I take that one out, and that one's already out, that might be all that's holding this carburetor on here. Every one of these is different, ladies and gentlemen, so you just never know what you're going to be dealing with. We got this little spring we got to pull off of here. Let's try little small needle nose pliers. There we go, we got that one. Now this rod, I'm hoping, once this comes off, that we can turn it like this and work that rod out of there, and which we're going to do. As soon as I set this camera down, I'll get that, and then we'll bring this whole thing over to the workbench and start cleaning it up. Let's start with this air filter. See how filthy it is? Still pretty clean on that side. Now this whole thing just comes out. You can clean this in your sink using just dishwashing detergent, whatever you want to do. But it needs to be cleaned and then you oil it. And if you don't have filter oil, you could even just put a couple drops of motor oil on it after it's clean and squeeze it in there. And that's all you got to do. This whole thing has to get cleaned up. So we'll put it in the bucket for cleaning. Actually, we'll just clean that too. And the screw. What the hell, why not? Okay, now, like I said, this fuel tank comes off with a bunch of screws. These lawnmowers run all kinds of different carburetors. This one is mounted right to the fuel tank. Sometimes they have the fuel tank mounted separately with a hose going into it. So you just have to look at it and determine what you got. A little rubber bit here for the seal for the air cleaner. This looks like it's a plastic carburetor, which is interesting. The fuel is going to be running in plastic, but what do you know? I'm just going to put all the parts in this bucket here, and I think we're just going to use some sort of a solvent to clean this up, a degreaser maybe. I'm not going to soak it in my ultrasonic, because lawnmower carburetors are actually a lot easier to work on than motorcycle carburetors. Believe it or not, very easy. Alright, now, how does this thing come off of here? Let's not pry on it too much because it's plastic. There we go. is a gasket between here and there, so we don't want to break that. There we go. And you see all that filth on there. I'm just sitting there. It's all oily and crappy and gross. And inside of the fuel tank, you won't be able to see it very good, but I can see a lot of rust and crap in there as well. So we're going to try to get this gasket off of here carefully. And we'll clean that all out. So I am going to get busy cleaning these parts, and then I'll show you the reassembly. Here's the air filter after cleaning it. I just used some detergent. Actually, I used, just dish soap, like Dawn. So I just put dish soap on it, hot water, rinsed it out, set it out in the sun, let it dry, squeeze it, of course squeeze it out, let it dry, and then I use some air filter oil because that's what I have. But if you have your lawnmower at home and you have one of these foam filters, just wash it and then use some motor oil, even if you need to, just a couple drops, and squeeze it in there. Just massage it in. There you go. It doesn't need to be dripping oil, just enough oil so that it can capture dirt. It should not look like the turd that came off of here. This gas cap, the little restraining strap on it was broken, so I made one out of a piece of wire here. Just kind of nice so that you don't lose it. There's the gasket. I just washed that in soap and water as well, let it sit out in the sun. And soaked this in a bucket as well. Cleaned it up. I was very sparing on the carb cleaner because this thing is all plastic, and I was concerned that that it would fall apart, you know, melt. Even the detergent with a little toothbrush took off the paint off of this plastic carburetor. Really unusual plastic carburetor, but I'm not surprised. Things are cheaper than they've ever been. Let's see if we can get you in on the action here. It's not too exciting, but the screws are just going back in. Key here being, try to get them all kind of started through the filter. The gasket. Get them in through the gasket, because you don't want to break that gasket. There we go. All right, I'll get those tightened down, and then we'll go put this back on the mower, and we'll hope for some good luck. It should start right up, I'm hoping, but we'll see. It's always a challenge to get you a good view here, but we're going to try. Now here's that linkage. This is what they call the governor. This is what keeps the engine running at a constant speed, depending on the load of the engine. And this thing doesn't have any sort of a bolt that holds it. It just has like a little sleeve that it slides over. And then we put this small bolt in here. And this big bolt in over here. It's tight. Get this one tightened up. Got this little spring that attaches right there, and then it attaches over here. Okay. And then the air filter put on here. Okay. Now all I have to do is I'll tighten that down and put this engine cover back on. And put some gasoline in here, and of course we'll check the oil and we'll see if it starts. So let me get these other items bolted down, move these tools out of the way, put some gas in it. Let's check it out. Oil looks pretty dark, but it's in there, so we're going to leave it in there. If it runs, we'll change it, put gasoline in it. We're going to press the prime button a few times here, prime it up, and see what happens. That sounded like something. Prime it a couple more. Cutting up my cardboard. But it does appear to run. So there we have it. I'm going to drain the oil out of it, put some fresh oil in it, and throw this thing in the back of the truck, and then I'm going to get over there and I'm going to charge that YouTube cooking star. Oh, he's going to pay. It's not going to be cash, but he's going to pay one way or another. Maybe I'm going to have to get a meal and some cold beverages from him. But I expect his yard to be clean next time I come over there too, because now he's got all of his yard work equipment ready to go. Awesome. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure. Adios.